Hello, this is Tennyson E Stead, writer and director of Quantum Theory, founding member of 8-Sided Films. And today I'd like to talk about a very simple practice that I've been implementing here in Los Angeles and that I advocate for every single entertainment professional, which is keeping office hours. One of the things that I talk a lot about in my blogs and on the internet in general is the idea of show business as a community, and the idea that our support of the community is 50% of the work we do in show business, and that support of the community includes both how we relate to the audience and how we take care of our audience and their needs. And I'll tell you, what an audience needs is going to depend on a specific level from person to person and from audience to audience. So there's not a whole lot of sense in talking about the specific needs of any given audience, but what I can say is that the audience needs us to be there for them. Every community we're involved in needs us to be there for them and to invest ourselves in their lives, largely through storytelling in our case, because that's what we do. And at the same time, listening is a big part of it too, communicating when they share with us and not just acknowledging their contribution, but responding to it. And having empathy. Those things are critical to maintaining a community, and those exercises are just as important when it comes to our relationships with our professionals that we work with, and our collaborators and sort of the inner circle. So one of the things I do every week is just I spend a decent amount of time letting people know on Facebook and Twitter I'm available. And specifically, if you're curious, my office hours are open to anybody. I go to Republic of Pie in North Hollywood, which is right on Magnolia, just half a block away from Lancashire, going east. And it's 6:30 to 7:30 on Monday nights. And if I cancel, I'll post it on Facebook and Twitter that I've had to cancel, and I've canceled a couple, but mostly I'm there every week. And most of the time nobody shows up, and I just end up working on quantum theory stuff. More often than not, that's the case. But people have said how much they appreciate that I'm keeping those office hours available for them. People have promised to come and haven't, and I've had a couple people show up and talk to me about their productions and ask for advice and critique, and sometimes people just stop by that I don't know, and wind up talking to me about film as well, not because they saw it on the internet, but just because they happen to be at Republic of Pie and I'm somebody they can talk to. And that's fine. That serves the purpose of the office hours. And at the end of the day, the most important consequence is that folks know that I am there for them because I actually am there for them, physically present. And waiting for whatever they have to bring to me. If somebody needed to visit me for office hours over the internet, I don't know if they would contact me or not, but they're certainly open to. I'm open to it. They're available. They're free to do so, is what I'm saying. I can make accommodations. If somebody needs me to stay a little extra late for whatever, I can probably do that. And if I can't on one week, then I would be candid about that and say maybe next week and figure it out from there, but I would schedule a time and that would be fine. By and large, the point of this practice is just to ensure that I have the habit of being available for my community. Developing that habit is something that serves everybody around me. And the other advantage to office hours is that it helps me keep that habit contained and focused to what I can sustainably do. Too often folks in Hollywood overextend themselves. They make commitments that they can't possibly keep. They make promises all the time that they know they can't keep, and they're just hoping nobody actually calls that promise in. And I can't afford to do that because I have a disability. People judge me as incapable from the get-go, by and large, unless they know me and know my work. And just because that's the impression people have of disabled people in highly specialized professional fields. It's not unique to me, and certainly I'm not complaining, but what I'm saying is, if I am not, in fact, extremely aware of how people see me coming, there's no way I can succeed. So what I've got to do is never break my word. I have to be more reliable than everybody else, because otherwise people will, as a default, trust me less than everyone else. And people in Hollywood are so untrustworthy by and large that I can't afford that. Definitely. So, I make promises I can keep. And one of the great things about a practice of office hours is that it's an hour a week, and 2 if you want to. But just be clear about it up front. Make a promise and keep it. Make a promise and keep it. And this is a very contained, very realistic promise that makes me available to my community in a very controlled way that doesn't overextend my schedule at all. And if someone needs me, I can always say, I've got office hours, and it's easy, it's handled, and I can literally direct them to a website if it's fast, if it's somebody on the street, and, oh, bro, we gotta talk, bro. We've got stuff to do. And it's like, well, office hours. Handled. I can give those people my time and attention without overwhelming my schedule, because everyone in Hollywood loves to talk. Everyone in Hollywood needs to be heard, and most people are never going to do anything with it. But it's still just an hour a week regardless. So there's no harm in letting them know I'm available, and those people probably won't come, truthfully, because they don't want to do the work. They want me to take their ideas and make something of them. And anyone who's been watching my blogs knows that I do not value ideas, I value work. And I've got plenty of ideas of my own, so does everybody else. The only thing that makes my ideas valuable in the eyes of the rest of the industry, is that I implement them with excellence, and I implement them consistently and reliably. And a big part of why that is I make promises I can keep. When I start working on a project, I make sure it's a project I can see through. And if I'm not clear on how long that's going to take me, I don't tell people I am. I don't give deadlines if I can't meet them. But as soon as I have a deadline I can meet, I put it out there, because that way I made another promise and I kept it, right? So office hours is a great way to make sure that you're offering yourself to the community in a very controlled way. People who actually want your advice, they can make the trip to your neighborhood, sit in a coffee shop with you, and spend an hour with you. It's not so much to ask in exchange for your experience, if they want your experience, And if they don't, then why sit there and listen to their pitch or whatever it is they want to talk about in the first place? If they're not that serious, if they're not serious enough to make a trip across town, I guarantee you they're not going to do the work it takes to make a feature film. There's no way. Absolutely none. So office hours is a great idea. It makes the habits of providing our time and our support to our community extremely easy to cultivate, and at the same time it makes them extremely controlled, and it keeps us from overextending ourselves. And I think if everybody in the industry made themselves available to the rest of the film community just for 1 hour a week, then not only would a lot more information get shared, not only would people have the opportunity, to rely on the experience of the people they admire, so many good things would come of it, and just in terms of the relationships that got built and the network of the community itself, but people would in general feel safer and more supported. They'd feel like if they did need the help, it was there. And that gives people courage. So, in every respect, I think it's a positive thing, and I like doing it for that reason. And I think if you're a filmmaker, you might want to think about putting office hours up on your Facebook as an event once a week, meetups, Twitter, just let everybody know. Here's where I'm going to be. Bring me your questions. Here's what I know. Here's what I'm good at. If you want to know about that stuff, come talk to me. Don't even need to send me a note saying you'll be there or won't be there, because I'll be there regardless. And that's what that's all about. Thank you for hearing me out. And if you want the information about my office hours, just go to the 8-Sided Forum, 8sidedforum.com, scroll down to events. It's always there. The next 2 office hours are always listed. So I'm never hard to find. Thank you. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.